You're on.
Hi, welcome to Tuesdays at 2 with your co-host Vicki Semander, founder of the Secrets of the Sistership, and Constance Jones, Sistership board member and vice president of the Youth and Minority Supplier Development Council. Each Tuesday at 2, we bring you experts in their field that will provide useful content that you will find empowering. Today, we have breaking news. Oh my God, it's Constance's birthday.
Oh.
Hello, how are you today? Because my voice is not as strong as what it used to be, I thought I'd bring you a few friends to help me wish you a very happy birthday.
It's your birthday, another year has come and gone. It's your birthday, he will never leave you alone. What a perfect love God has for you, I'm sure you will agree.
I can't hear what's happening.
Hold on.
I see a bunch of people, but I don't hear what they saying.
Hold on. Ruby must have clicked something.
What you continue to do for HMSDC, and thank you for making a difference in my life and the life of all these people and more. Happy birthday.
We love you, Constance. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Constance. Thank you for everything you do.
Hey, CJ, I wish you the happiest of birthdays. Know that my birthday buddy, and I am wishing and praying all the best for you on your special day and every day thereafter. Love you, girl.
Happy birthday, Constance, from Tristan Sutton, aka Suge Sutton. Appreciate everything you do for the small business community, and hope you have a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Constance. May God continue to bless you and your family, and may this be your best year yet.
Happy birthday, Constance. Thank you for being the glue that holds HMSDC together, and for everything that you do for me, for my family, for the entire HMSDC family. And know that we always love you, and that we know that we wish you the best and hope for the years to come. We love you.
Happy birthday, Constance. Listen, I'm sorry I'm not as smooth as Clifton Clark, nor can I sing like Richard Miles. I can read your mind though, and I know you were waiting on Richard to sing She's Your Queen to Be. His next line.
Oh, dear.
We love you. We appreciate you. Serious, real talk. We appreciate your heart for us and for people and everything you do. Clark is gonna sing you You're My Queen to Be as soon as you get home tonight. We love you and pray the best. God's blessings upon you.
Happy birthday, Constance, my fashionista sister. I love you from the moment that I met you. It clicked. And I just want you to have a blessed day and many more years to come. I love you.
Happy birthday, Constance. Have a blessed year and many more. Love you.
So, Constance, it wasn't the birthday bash we would have loved to have given you, because you're so deserving for all you are and for all you do. Happy birthday.
Oh, y'all, that's so sweet. Thank y'all.
So through all the challenges, we tried, girl. We now we're looking for a IT helper. Anybody we need help, Jesus. Take it away, Constance.
Thank you so much. That is so heartwarming to know that just to kind of see the level of support and the appreciation that people have for me. So I really do appreciate it. My voice is a little shaky because that had me in tears, but I thank everyone who participated and glad that I was able to touch so many people who would like to wish me happy birthday. Yay, Queen. All right, so today we're going to continue in that same sentiment, and we're going to bring you Hope Malveaux. Hope Malveaux is the president and CEO of Veaux Professional Services, LLC. They provide focused human resource services in mergers and acquisitions, human resource management, leadership training, individual and group, employee engagement surveys, labor relations support, employee relations, life insurance and annuities, and a wide range of business services to help organizations perform at their optimal peak. They offer customized outsourcing services to help organizations with human resources and solutions to fit their needs. Without further ado, I'll bring you Hope.
Thank you so much for the warm introduction and happy birthday!
Thank
happy birthday! Pleasure to be here.
Well, Hope, why don't you tell us a little bit about how Veaux Professional Services actually got started?
So Veaux started really, I've always wanted to run my own business, and I really had a passion for people. And so human resources just seemed like the field I should have been in. But what I learned in working in corporate America is that we've, in some cases, lost track or lost touch with the human doing business. And so I sought out to start a business that was based on people and not necessarily paperwork. I feel like when it comes to human resources, that we are not just hiring, you know, a person. We've hired their whole family. We've also taken on problems. We've taken on everything that person is going through. We've hired all of that. And I wanted to help one leader at a time think differently about business and approach it from an inside out perspective, because you know we're human first. We're human before we're employees. We're human before we're mothers. We're human first. So Veaux is based on that principle that we are humans first.
Okay, so you have a lot of practical information to share with the business owners out there as it relates to what's happening in this pandemic. And so business, we keep hearing that eventually when all the states open and we're back to 100%, we're going back to business as usual. But I don't think that motto is really the future state of businesses. What is your thoughts and input on that?
Yeah, like business as usual really hasn't been the same for years if we really, you know, look at it. And I think that perspective in business has actually been the problem for years. Even more so now, business as usual just does not apply. So I believe companies should be looking at it with a fresh set of eyes, looking at really inventing themselves within their business. Their employees are different now. This that we're going through as a nation globally, it has just completely changed us. And I don't think that we'll ever be the same. So companies need to be talking to their customers now. Their customers' needs has changed. Don't just assume that when things go back online that everything will just go back, you know, into place. Perhaps running surveys, trying to find out, or even looking at different you can improve your business that would take it from, you know, what it was to something, you know, more I guess forward thinking forward thinking. If we are in a pandemic now that is forcing us to stay at home, then that means that that logic can happen again and again and again. So why not set your business up for success for future situations that might happen? Or maybe you just want to change how you're doing business as it relates to your operations model. Maybe you don't need 75 people in the office. Maybe you just need 2. So that's how I believe businesses should be looking at business. Oh, and also looking at their competition, because there are people that are willing and ready right now. They are reinventing themselves right now to take their place with their clients.
And so one of the things that at HMSDC, you know, we've been putting on a series of lead conversations, and that is having direct conversations with different industries and different individuals to actually see how, from a business perspective, what will the world look like once we get out of COVID-19? One of the resounding messages that we heard from our transportation group was that alliances and partnership were going to be very important. Businesses needed to scale up. They needed to be more, have more capacity and capabilities in order to compete for those larger contracts. So how important is that from your perspective, that businesses get ready to engage in partnerships?
Very, very important. Now more than ever. So businesses have to understand they don't have to be great at everything. So partnership can be looked at one or two ways. It can be looked at from a scaling standpoint, where we can expand and have more people, that can do a duty, a task. And then it could also be looked at as a growth scaling. So if I'm looking at long-term growth, then maybe if there's a company out there that's doing something that I want to add, maybe I don't, do it myself. Maybe I partner with that company so that they can do it, because that's what they specialize in. So working on mergers and acquisitions, you kind of see that it's a dance, it's a date, it's a relationship. So companies need to be looking at the way they're doing business, their operations model, their business model, and say, you know what, who can I partner with so that my business can be set up for success? I don't have time to go back to class and figure out, how to go about doing this area of business, but this area of business might be complementary business. So maybe I partner, and anytime I'm trying to get business, I use that area of business, pull that partner in, and we do business together. It's definitely, unity is much more greater than that silo experience that we can tend to fall into, because we're worried about the competition. And to be perfectly honest, we can all make it together. So partnership, to me, going forward, especially now, will be key to businesses.
So let's talk a little bit about that topic, because a lot of what we hear when we talk about partnerships is, I want to be control of my own destiny, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't want to partner with anybody. That's why I became an entrepreneur, is I want me mine. I want to decide all of that information. And so one of the biggest things that we talk about when we're talking to firms looking at forming alliances and strategic partnerships is the idea of trust, right? Mm-hmm. And so what recommendations do you have as it relates to how do firms start trusting the process to become an alliance versus just continue to look at me and mine?
Yeah. So trust is extremely important. We do business with people we trust, and people, buy from us because they trust us, or the brand that we represent. So I look at it like you would any relationship. Trust is something that is definitely earned and it's demonstrated. And I think companies need to date each other. Like, how we do speed dating, and you got one person over here and one person over here. I think you need to look at the company from the perspective of, can we really be in a relationship? Because that's what it is. And when you think of a relationship, you don't think of competition. You don't think of, I'm trying to get over on this person. You're thinking of genuinely, we can do this together. So we need to first change our mindset of how we're looking at partnership, and more so approach it from, I want to be in a relationship with this business, and together we could possibly do great business. And one way to even, check the waters on that, do your core values line up? Maybe, look at the leadership of that group. Does the leadership team kind of look like yours? Do you all speak the same language? Because morally, from a value standpoint and from a mission standpoint, if you are aligned, then chances are you can do business together. You can partner with that company. And you have to not look at it from a competitive standpoint, because honestly, that's not going to get you anywhere, especially if you're a small, to mid-sized business. You're competing with the big dogs. You're competing with huge companies. And believe it, they have alliances. They have partnerships. The bigger companies do. They're not at this alone. They have tons of vendors and tons of companies that they are utilizing to help them, stay great. So we have to look at it from that same perspective when we're thinking of the partnerships. I don't think of it as a competition. Think of it as a relationship.
And that is great to know. And just from the audience out there, the Houston Minority Supplier Development Council actually has a committee that focuses on everything that Hope just talked about. It's called our Strategic Team and Alliance Committee, and it is really geared to help teach you how to formulate alliance, when you're in the alliance, how to work and market and sell together, and then how to go after business in order to be effective in the organization. And so STAC is what it's called. We welcome you to participate in STAC. Our chair is with the City of Houston Housing Authority. And of course, that's an alliance that the council has created itself between public and private sectors in order to increase the opportunities for minority businesses. So you hear that the council is doing it. Hope just gave you some valuable insight about why that should be important. And so we do encourage some of those alliances to happen and start looking at them. And so Hope, what should companies be doing and putting in place in order to look at doing business post this pandemic?
Yeah, I think companies should be focused on these types of platforms, virtual experiences. Because if you think about it, the concept of doing what we're doing now has been around for a long time. There are companies that do business out of state and they have board meetings, and not everyone is, physically attending. So I think technology is telling us that it's time to start to utilize these types of platforms. And even, with my business, I do HR, and we were trying to figure out a way to scale Veaux, and we created a platform that is similar to what's out there, but better, because it's an all-in-one communication platform. So companies need to be looking to how to implement this type of experience along with what they're doing. So there are going to be some people that will have to be in the office. That needs to be explored, though. Do they really need to be in the office? If they are supposed to be in the office, why? Start questioning the status quo of how you're doing business, because these types of experiences will also allow you to expand your business even far more reaching than before, because they don't have to come into the office. So I do want to talk a little bit about Connect Pro. The software that we created is an all-in-one communication software, and it's based on project management, live conferences like this. And what it will do is allow companies to have one platform that they're working in, creating an inclusive and a collaborative environment. And honestly, it's not necessarily happening today with the platforms that we have now.
And that's good. And you said the name of it was?
Connect Pro.
Connect Pro. And so let's talk about that a little bit, because there's some things that you said that I think is very impactful for our audience. So the first thing you said was you was looking for a way to find an opportunity for Veaux to expand its capabilities. So when did you start thinking about this, and how did that become something that was maybe it was in the top 3 priorities, but now it had to become priority number 1? So help kind of share your experience as an entrepreneur taking a first step at how this impacted your firm.
Sure. So with Veaux, the premises to the business is collaboration, communication, and making sure that everyone is really heard. Well, that's impossible to do because I can't be in every state at every moment. So technology was the answer. So my partner, Miracle Simeon, and I were trying to just figure out how to scale the business. So I guess it was about December 2019. We had to pivot. You know, we were seeing that we weren't really getting our message out. Yes, we were getting clients, but we weren't getting as many as we wanted to, and we needed to scale the business. And we're not tech people. So we were like, oh gosh, so we're not tech people. How do we take these principles and all this stuff that we want to do and add it to a tech platform and still have the feel and the touch of like a human being, you know, involved in this communication process? What we ended up doing is getting with a tech company. Again, you don't have to know it all. We knew the human resources side. We knew exactly what we wanted to offer, but we don't know how to code. So we partnered with a tech company who created our vision. We told them exactly what we wanted. We told them the look and feel that we wanted. We wanted administrators to feel empowered. We wanted them to have information readily available, reports to be pulled. We thought about compliance issues, sexual harassment. We literally thought about all of that and added it to our product. We were like, you know what, if we were to do a product, what would that look like? If we could, you know, make ourselves into this technology, how would that look? And we came up with Connect Pro. And it's been quite challenging, but again, with partners that understand and know what you want, we didn't have to know it all. We didn't have to know it all. So, you know, it was birthed through really needing to scale the business and trying to figure out how do we get this message of the human aspect and the human experience in business. And so this was pre-pandemic, and we, you know, are so excited we're on track, and we were thinking progressively and forward thinking enough that it is now even more so needed today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And is Connect Pro ready to use? Like, can I subscribe today? Do I sign up? Where do I get it?
So Connect Pro, we have a clickable prototype right now. The goal is to have it beta tested in September of 2020, and we are looking for beta testers to sign up and be open to test it. Connect Pro is for businesses. We say 1 to 1,000, but 25, because you need somebody to talk to. You can't just be one of you. But 25 to 1,000 employee-based business, and we have really good deals, really good offers for those folks that want to beta test it. And so all they have to do is reach out directly to me or go to www.connectprotx.com and just sign up, and we will be able to send them the clickable prototype and set up a demonstration with them.
And so do you brand Connect Pro? Is it a technology platform? Is it a communication strategy? Is it an HR solution? What exactly should I market or look to Connect Pro to helping me with in my business?
It's a communication platform. So when you're thinking of being on this Zoom call, you might get off this Zoom call and jump on Microsoft Teams to update your team on what happened on the Zoom call, or just to give them direction. You might hang up that and then go to an email and send an email out to tell someone what to do. You would do all of those things. So all those communication avenues that you use, you would do all of that in Connect Pro. So we label it as a communication software.
Okay. All right. Cool. That's definitely great information to know. And at the end of the session, we want to make sure that you repeat that contact information so our viewers will know how to get in touch with you again and how to share that information. So let me go back to, all right, I am a business that may have 10 or less employees. I was doing okay before COVID, or either I started my business in the midst of COVID, what should I be doing now from your perspective in order to stay aware, get more business, or preparing my business to do better once we get out of post-COVID?
Sure. So even before COVID-19 hit, I would have said you need to be doing things from the perspective of best practice. So let's talk about just the employee base and how you hold on to those employees. Now more than ever, if your culture wasn't something you focused on before, number one, you need to focus on your company culture. If you didn't have one, it's time to have one. And what I mean by that is you have to hold on to the employees you have. They have information, proprietary information. They have information based on experience that you yourself as a business owner may not even know because you're just used to them just doing it. So I say focus on your employees. Build a culture that's around transparency, flexibility. Even now more than ever, you have, in this day and time, not everyone is doing good working from home. Some people rely on routine and they're productive because they have a routine. So we've just told them, hey, we have all these expectations of you and we're expecting you to do exactly what you did before. And that may not be possible. So business owners, companies need to understand that there may be a situation where you're going to have to be flexible with your employees. So what I say is when you pull out those best practices, you're looking at your culture, you're looking especially at your top employees, and you're giving them the attention that they need. And what I mean by that, making sure that they're okay with their mental health, making sure that they understand that you understand the pressures that are on them. For women and men in businesses that have family and they have young children, let them know, hey, it's okay to work a flexible schedule. I know you won't be on the phone call at 8 a.m. Check in when you can, or check in at this time. Sit down and make sure it's not something that you're, being so hard and demanding on, because that just might not work. It might not work, and you don't want to lose great employees. So I say focus on your employee base. In terms of how you're doing business, you definitely need to look at your business model. What you did before may not work. Plain and simple. What you were offering before may not work. And you have to make a decision. Only you know if what you were doing will work. But you definitely have to be honest and open with yourself and determine if what you're doing is going to make you money in the future too. Kind of like back to partnership, maybe what you're doing is okay and it can still happen, but maybe you need to look for a partner that you can partner with that's in the exact same situation as you, and you both together can have a sustainable business. And, I always talk employee assistance programs. I always talk leaves from the HR side. There's a whole lot of legal stuff that has come up with the COVID-19, and you have to make sure your policies are up to date, be flexible on vacation. So I'm saying at this point, your culture is probably what's going to keep your employees. You have so many people that are, looking for work and all of these things. But those employees that you have right now, don't look at that as an opportunity to say, if I don't need, if you don't do what I say, then you're gone. This is not the time to have that attitude. This is the time to hold on to your great talent and to take care of your employees.
And that's awesome feedback and great information to have, because I know that can also be a challenge as well, as people are trying to figure out incentives of what to do with their employees during this time. It's a little different when you're in the office and you can give an attaboy, or they can really see the appreciation, but it's really hard to do that when everyone is working from home. And you're in Texas, you're in Houston, which means you could drive an hour, hint Ruby, and still be a long time away. So that is that will definitely be important as we look forward and we go forward. So sure. Faith, Hope, I want to ask you, One last question. It was talking about the future, and I'm just combining everything together. So, how can companies? So now that you've kind of shared some information with me, I'm really big on being practical for our firms, right? And so they always get a lot of theory, they get a lot of information thrown at them, but I really want them to be able to walk away and say, here were 3 things that I learned I should be getting out of this today, or I should leave and start thinking about right away. So what are those 3 things that you would advise all businesses to do as it relates to staying relevant and being prepared?
I guess number 1, I would say technology. Focus on technology, and I mean like communication platforms such as Zoom, Connect Pro. Focus on those types of technologies. 2, I would say focus on your operations plans, your business model. You want to make sure that what you are offering is still useful, still something that consumers want. And I think you need to focus on reinventing yourself. People, we grow, right? And we have all these personal development things that we do. And if we don't, we stay stagnant. And most of us know that feeling of, oh gosh, I need to get up and do something, whether it's exercise or whatever. A business is no different. I look at business as a full body. I look at it with the top being the mind, the brain being your leadership. I look at the heart being your employees, and you see where I'm going with that. They both need to be aligned. And so if we're looking at it from the perspective of your body, I think that business need to focus on really reinventing themselves. How can businesses do better? Not for themselves, but for their employees, their heartbeats, and the veins and the blood that flows is your customers. For the blood that flows, what can I do with the resources that I have right now? How can I be a better business? Even if you're on, Houston's best business or the best places to work, that took preparation. So the same, you have to look at it from that perspective too. So how do I prepare to go back into the market, the workplace, and how can I be different? How can I be better? And how can I make the best impact in business today? That's what businesses need to be looking at, because we're changed. We are forever changed with what's happened. And I think there's a sense of humanity that has that's in the spirit of our nation right now, and that has to transform into business as well. So how we used to look at a piece of paper and we saw a social security number and we moved it off of our desk, we need to now put a name with that social security number. We need to now understand what's going on with that person. We need to have more conversations with people that we work with. We need to understand the heartbeat of our people. That's what businesses need to be focused on.
And that's great that you shared that information, and we talk about people as a resource, but more or less people in the human aspect of it. So before we kind of close, I do want to ask you a question about, we often say that don't try to be masters of everything, but be masters of your craft, and it's okay to outsource. So if I was looking, I'm not an HR professional, and so if I was looking to outsource my HR services, this is of course something that I can hire Veaux Professional Services to do.
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, we do full cycle HR with the specialty in mergers and acquisitions and employee engagement. So if you were, let's say you wanted someone to look at your policies and procedures and revamp those, that's something we can do. If you just need, someone is not filling that role and you want them to, maybe you don't even have an HR, that happens. Just building out the basic framework of HR, we do that. Maybe you need someone to just kind of sit in because your HR person is not in the office for whatever reason, we do that. So we do full cycle HR. Surveying, labor relations. So if you have a union, we do it all. We do it all. So we will outsource. And I tell people too, outsourcing doesn't have to cost a whole lot of money. I think the idea that, you know, you're one partnering with someone, you're losing money. No, you're probably gaining more by bringing on that talent. It's the same thing with outsourcing. You're not necessarily paying for the hours that I'm working. You're paying for all the experience that I have and that you don't have. And that's valuable. So that's something that companies need to look at. Just how can I stay in compliance? How can I get someone in place that's able to help my business thrive and grow? And you needed a strong HR person to be able to do that.
Absolutely. I think we talk a lot about making sure you're building strong infrastructures in your firm. And a part of that infrastructure, I wholeheartedly believe, is having a strong HR presence and team. And so I'm going to ask our CEO, Ms. Vicki Semander, to come back. She is going to share on the screen Hope's information for the firm. And this includes how to get in contact with Hope. But Hope, tell us again that website for the Connect Pro.
Sure. So Connect Pro is www.connectprotx.com.
All right. Thank you so much, Hope. Hope, is there any closing remarks you would like to leave with our audience, or any action items or things you think that we should share before we close out?
So we have on VeauxPro.com, we have a resource of videos that anybody who wants to know why you need HR, you know, what's a merger, what's an acquisition, why should I even do something like that? You can check us out on www.VeauxPro.com, and there's a resource center for you. You can listen to all the videos, and of course, just reach out to me if you need me, and everyone stay safe.
Thank you so much, Hope, and we are so glad that you were able to join us today and share information with us about the services that you offer. On next week's Tuesday at 2, we will have Daryl Groves with DWG CPA. So you're hearing everything about the PPP program, the EIDL program. Do I need money? Do I want money? Am I paying myself? Do I need to start over? What is this going to do with my taxes? And so we're going to bring on a professional who will be able to share some light on some of this information that you're hearing, and actually help us get ready for what's to come in the future. So Daryl Groves, DWG CPA. Again, Hope, thank you.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at 2. And everybody, thank you so much again for wishing me a happy birthday. This was a huge surprise, and I really do appreciate you for everything that you do and for tuning in.